for Mighty Minds Academy, where I run a program. I have an academy for teachers, principals, and I train teachers and principals, students. I do counselings for students also. We have a huge academy with a huge team. So that is the only change, I'm running now as a principal. Now the principalship has gone down. I work as a founder and director for the company. That's the thing. Again, thank you so much, Bedkar sir. Good evening, and thank you again for giving me a chance for speaking again. Just please let me know if you can see my screen. I'm sharing the window. If you can please. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. So today's topic, what I have chosen is dealing with misbehavior. I know many of you might be, because you are teachers, as a parent, you might have gone through that, where you are dealing with misbehavior of students and you don't know how to deal with it. And here's a small thing which I came up with, which what we do, we try to, change the mindset of the students. I hope this presentation helps you out. So, how to deal with misbehavior? So, dealing with misbehavior is seriously a huge problem for anyone. As a human, yes, we do deal with that, and it's very difficult because we have our own set of mind. When we go to work, we don't, are ready for the situations. We are not prepared. We are just prepared for how we are going to take the class, how we are, the curriculum is going to get completed, and how we are, going to train our students. This is how we usually prepare as an educator. So what happens is, when we, out of the moon, when we go to the class and we see the misbehavior in students, how do we deal with that? That is the main motive of today's talk. So every behavior has a function. I hope everybody will, agree with it, because even if it is positive, negative, or neutral, it has some function to do with our neurons. So that has to be with some behavior. It's interlinked with the function. So what is the main function? We need to understand that. There are, 4 primary reasons for disruptive behavior in classroom. So number 1 is the power. Number 2 is revenge. Number 3 is attention. And number 4 is want solace. So what is want solace? It's like to be left alone, or he or she is disinterested in anything, or the feelings is not adequate as per the situation. So that is want solace. I want to be alone. I don't want to be listened. These are more psychological problems that are seen in the classroom, or it can be seen in school, it can be seen in colleges, it can be seen in workplace. It's not about what I'm going to talk about. It's only related to the classroom. It is on a vast aspect what I have brought in here today. So now the second thing is, many misbehaviors exhibited by the students are responses of the behavior exhibited by the teacher. You might have, as a parent, not as a educator. So a teacher, or if your style is going there and misbehave, if you get a call from a school like your son or daughter is misbehaving, so what comes first? You'll go and think like, what happened? Why is he misbehaving, or why he or she is misbehaving? Then when you see the execution done by the teachers, certain teachers, they do get very aggressive in the class when the class starts, because you as a person brings your own personal emotions to the classroom. So this is when I usually tell the teachers, once you step inside the school, keep your emotions, your house problems outside the gate. Once you step outside the school, you won't, forget everything about the school, and then, deal with your own problems, or, your own house, family, husband, children, everything. That starts from there. So you don't have to merge 2 things together when you come to work. So what happens when you merge 2 things together? Misbehavior, you exhibit that. So it can be violent, it can be rude, it can be aggressive, it can be harsh. So we don't know what kind of impression we are putting on the students. So it's a generic, very generic statement which I have kept here, like usually maximum if you see from 100, 97.99% you will find the same thing. The teacher's behavior exhibition is being, the main reason for the student's misbehavior. Second thing, if you are dealing with misbehavior, please do not tolerate undesirable behavior, no matter what is the excuse. If you think that is not tolerable in the classroom, it doesn't suit your environment, please do not tolerate that. No matter, that thing has to be very clear in that particular, child's mind, or the children who are there in your class. It can be of 40, or if you are in college, it can be of 60. That has to be very clear in the students that when we enter that room, that's not our domain. We are entering their domain. So we have to restrict ourselves to certain borderlines. So in that case, please do not tolerate. Understanding now why a person exhibits a behavior. So whether we need to tolerate that, or whether we should not tolerate that. There should be a reason for it. So that is the thing we need to understand. First thing is, yes, because we are into that situation, we lose our cool. That happens because we are humans. So at that time, please calm yourself and try to understand why that particular child is exhibiting that kind of behavior. It has to be with a reason. It cannot be with no reason. And if we do that, so understanding the function of behavior will help you know to deal, with that kind of behavior. So that is what I said. You have something like that. So what is the main reason? Why he is so aggressive? What is making that, what is triggering point for that? What is triggering him that, he's executing these kind of behaviors in the classroom? So either respond to, decisively, or ignore. That is why you have chosen this field called education, where you are standing as a teacher, principal, or highest authority. You have something because God has chosen you, because you have that kind of patience which others don't have. That is why you are dealing with students. You are shaping their future. So when you come to that position, when you are an educator, you have to deal very decisively. If not, if you think that it has gone beyond your level, try to ignore that and then try to think again. What happened? What is making him? So distinguishing between off-task behaviors and off-task behavior patterns made is on the psychological aspect of a human. Can be a child, can be a teenager, can be an adult. So please, when you see to it and when I'm going through it, you yourself can categorize it accordingly. Remain focused and calm and organized thoughts. So you have, because see, whenever we are into some hot discussion, what has the control of over our tongue? Some people, what happens, they become quiet when certain arguments are happening. Certain people, when arguments are happening, they speak a lot. And in that rage, they forget they are humans and they forget what actions they are doing. And especially I've seen in colleges, these kind of behaviors are a lot more, seen in patterns, because they don't, take it when a child is speaking. They feel like, how can he speak to me? I am the elder one. But we don't understand what is going on in their mind. We need to understand their pattern. So at that time, we need to focus and remain calm and organize our thoughts. What next we have to speak to the child. That has to be controlled, in the time and place of dealing with the off-task behavior, because your task is to teach, your task is to complete your curriculum, your task is to make them understand what is your curriculum is and whatever your daily program is. These things which comes as a student, it goes off task. So what happens is, when certain things goes off task, even we get a little annoyed. It's obvious and nothing wrong in it if you are going off task, but it should not affect you as an educator. This is what I mean to say. So you have to provide students with dignified ways to terminate, off-task behaviors. Because you have to think on it. You have to take help of counselors, or know yourself as a educator, because you are standing there, you are on the ground level. You have to think what next I have to do, so that his mind diverts, his thoughts divert. So that is how you have to play the game. Now, second thing is, avoid, as humans, we have to stop avoiding, playing as a detective. Why is he doing what is he doing? We have to, ask his friends and families, or we try to behave like, okay, इसने ऐसा किया होगा इसीलिए ऐसा है. No, stop thinking that. First thing is, stop overthinking. Come to the reality. Why? The question is, again and again, I am repeating the same to you. They, sometimes they do it deliberately to take attention. So when they come to seek your attention, so you have to be ready with plan B. What next I have to do to deal with these kind of students? So here I want to ask my teachers who are watching me, or the people or panelists who are watching me, what do you do when you deal with these kind of students? Please mention in the chat box, or you can after the session you can please answer me in the thing. Like, you have a bunch of students and you get 2-3 people who are, of course, 40 students, you'll get at least 15 students who are off areas. So how do you read them? So please do answer me after that.
Now, so that is one solution, that you need to get them to your chamber, personal counseling them. If you want to make correction in the student's behavior, it should not be in the group. They should be called in separately, individually, and they should talk and they should try to get the reason behind their behavior, why they have behaved in that particular manner. I think that will solve the problem, and the student will realize that yes, he did wrong, he should not do it next time. Had you not adopted this individual strategy, if you try to insert the student classroom, he will become further arrogant and he will continue to do the same thing. That's what my reply to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir, because that's very true. That is why I asked, because the main objective here is how do you deal with these kind of students. You will be dealing, because you are in college and you are in school, so you have to deal with certain pattern of students. So how do you deal with that? There is one point of view what you have said, sir, but again I would like to know more patterns, like how they deal with the students. Again, here I have mentioned that utilize help of colleagues and utilizing help of the guardians. You have to go to the guardians, to the parents, to know how to the child behave at home and what is the patterns of his behavior. That will help really a lot way out. It will be a long way where you can help them out and you can guide them in a better manner, knowing that these are the patterns and these are the triggers that he doesn't like or he or she doesn't like. Second thing is, do not use corporal punishment. This is what I personally believe. We should not touch the child, as they are not our children. We should not touch our children also, but still there should be no to corporal punishments in any form of a contrived punishment in which physical pain or discomfort is intentionally inflicted upon an individual for the purpose of trying to get that individual to be sorry he or she displayed a particular behavior. So this is not a solution, and why I mentioned this statement, this is from Government of India, where we are not supposed to give corporal punishment. This is the reason we should not give. And if you give, you are answerable, and in fact you, the parents or anybody, can sue you. So please be ready for that if you do that. So first thing is my suggestion, don't do that. Play safe. Now, modifying off-task behavior pattern. Use the principle of extension. Excuse me. What is extension now? So here there are 4 points which I would like to express is, whenever the positive reinforcement comes from a person who voluntarily behave, patterns are removed or cease to exist, the person will begin to discontinue the behavior. So it's very well explained that when a person is voluntarily doing, because some people do it genuinely, and because of certain they have what you call, they are not physically or mentally to the task, they have certain issues, it will be like without knowingly, unknowingly they'll do. Certain people do it voluntarily. You will come to know, because you are teachers, you are educators, you are more experienced. You will know when they are doing and how they are doing, and there are patterns. You will know that if tests come now, this person will definitely come up with some excuse, or he'll not do the particular task, or he'll come with some excuse, I don't want to do this, I'm not well, and how to remove that. So you have to come to the principle of extension. Establish a realistic time schedule. So it should not be a blunt, okay, you can complete in 10-15 minutes. No, it has to be very realistic. You take 10 minutes, you please complete that. You have to want to go fast, read, come back and do it. It can be changed from person to person and from educator to educator. It is upon you. You have to come with implement the plan. A plan A, plan B is there, but how to implement it? See, like how we say, sitting on a position like as a principal or an administrator or whoever we are, we have a team, but we have a plan. So if I am, working as a head of a school, So there should be some plan A. If this doesn't work out, plan B. Then how the main thing comes, how the execution is to be done. So it is upon me, not on my teachers, not on my dean or somebody that is going to complete that. It's on me, because I know if I had 250 teachers with me, I know which set of teachers will be like noisy teachers, which will be like genuinely good teachers, and which will be like in the neutral term. So when we are coming with some new things in the office also, you have to do this, they'll be like, first thing will be negative. Oh, we have to do this. How much work you want me to do? So these are the certain patterns. So which is how we have to come up with plan B. So in a very implemented plan, you have to do this in this particular time. Do it, and in a very jolly method. It's up to us how we make that work, get our work done, because we are sitting there. It's up to us, it's up to the educator how to get that. The last thing is, and it's very important, that evaluate the effectiveness by observing behavior. Instead of just seeing patterns on question papers and answers, whether the child has done it properly or not, go to the proper practical thing, whether it is appropriate. Evaluate the child, whether he knows, whether he has dyslexia, whether he has some problem, is he doing genuinely, what are good qualities into the child. First see that, and then second thing, go to the thing why he is doing these things. Negative, positive, we are a part of yin yang, definitely yes, we have negative, we have positive too, but in that case, first thing what we need to see is the positive thing first, then the negative. Now here are the certain students what I have find is like attention seeking behavior. They do that to seek attention, because as educator always want to see that toppers, because they only do the things very properly, and then the class is very good when they do they answer the question back and they are very good in answer. So all attention goes to the toppers. What happens is the middle students, they are like, okay, we want to answer, we don't want to answer. Then who remains? The naughty students and the attention seekers. So these are the people who do that to seek your attention. So attention seeking students prefer being punished, admonished or criticized or being ignored. Now the thing is, punished, admonished is like when you do that, I'll do certain things in your class. If I'm not performing 100 on 100, if I irritate you, if I misbehave in your class, what you will do? Please get out of the class. This is what you will do. So this is what you might have observed. Especially whenever I used to go, on grounds in school. So I used to find set of students, especially in the 10th standard, 11th standard, standing out. The same set of students. So I used to wonder why they are outside, and they used to enjoy gala time outside the class. They don't want to be inside, especially when physics is going on, chemistry is going on. They don't want to study. Why? Because they don't like the teacher, either they don't like the chapter. So we, as an educator, we need to see where do we lack in taking their attention. Second is, give attention to these students when he or she is on task and cooperating with you. So obviously you have to make a good rapport with the child, then only these kind of things can be done. You can take their attention and get any hell work done out of them. And as a parent too, when children, they don't listen, you need to have that good, rapport with the child. Sit with them, talk with them, be their friend rather than teacher or, anybody. Be their friend, to know them a lot. The last thing is, catch them being good, not catch them being bad. So seriously, it's a catchy point and it's a very important point. Catch them being good and let them know you got them. You should let them know also that if they are doing something good, please go and pat their back and tell you, oh, good job, you have done a good job. That matters a lot. Small things, please pay attention to that, and seriously that will do miracles for them. Power seeking students attempt to provoke teachers into struggle of will. So now what do you understand by this? It's a very important statement. Power-seeking students attempt to provoke teachers into struggle of will. When I don't have a willpower, but I'm very good into, I'm a good student, but still I'll go if our teacher is wrong or she missed out something. So I'll provoke, ma'am, you have done, you see that spelling is mistake, you have done a spelling mistake. Or, see this answer is here, your answer is wrong. So these are power seeking behavior because I am a topper. You can relate to that. In fact, these kind of students at home also behave same way with the parents. What do you know? You don't know how to operate a tab. You don't know how to operate a laptop. Oh, you leave it, I'll do it within 2 minutes. So this is like a power seeking because they are overconfident. In that case, what you have to do in most of the cases, the teacher should have the direct intention, or the parent has to be full direct attention to the member of the class or to the child. In that attention, what happens where you focus and you tell them, boss, you are doing wrong and you have to be in your limit in a very good manner. It should not be like I'm scolding. It should be like I'm, like friend, like I'm directing you. You cannot, cross the borderline. You might have seen students, you might have come across many cases like that. But here, I would like to know 2-3 examples from this, panelists who are there. What have you done for these kind of power-seeking behavior with students? Now the next is dealing with misbehavior is consequences. And here, please, it's a warning card. So please remember that this is very important. This is a warning card. First is you have to keep a general reminder for yourself, then to the students. Second thing is first individual detention. Detention in a way where you are giving, detention to the child in that class, but without making him humiliated. Second warning sign comes where it is like second detention. The third time is timeout. Please, already 2 detentions I have given you. Stop doing it finish it and come back. Second is timeout. Please go out of the class. Third is much detention. You cannot go outside with your students. You have other friends. You have to be in the class, or you have to be with me in the, the teachers, where the teachers sit in the staff room with me as a kind of detention. You have to sit with us, enjoy with teachers and have lunch. That is kind of a detention. Parental contact you don't do, because see, these kind of, why I'm giving a warning card, because this card will help you. First is general reminder, because you're doing wrong, and you can tell the child. Second thing is, again I'm reminding you, this is your first detention. Again I'm reminding you, already you have got a reminder, you have got first detention. Now this is the third time I'm telling you, you have gone to the third, which is called the second detention. Now you are not listening 3 times, I've already warned you. Now it's time out. Please get out of the class. Third is you have to give detention, but it is in a very sequenced manner. You can give lunch detention, you can contact the parents. You can now, when the parent, after contacting the parents, after giving that kind of warning also, if the child is not listening, you can go to the principal or to the counselor. Now the last is time out of the class for 1 week. What detention we have given was within the class. 2 times you have already detained the child in the class. The last time will be outside the class, outside the school for a week, where the child cannot come back to the school till he agrees or he is being counseled with a proper counselor, and he has, you come to know with the proper answer, like what is to be done. And I here suggest, like we do deal with these kind of students with, psychometric test. Especially for the college students and for the students who are into their teenagers. The psychometric test can be done for you, for me, for some answers, you just need to tick with answers and give us back. In that test, what happens is you come to know the good qualities that you have. We have so many qualities. We have good qualities, we have bad qualities. But what we focus in the psychometric test is the good qualities. What happens is when you give the result to the child that you have done this test. So we focus on the good qualities of the child. Like, okay, this is a good quality in you. So now what, how do you deal with this? How do you go about with this? Can you make more work on this and make this, it can be, done to the perfection. You are not good into studies, but you are good into art, you are good into gardening, you are good into, poetry. Can we focus into that? So that helps the teacher also that he or she is not, especially if I am there, I am not good into studies, so my teacher will come to know that I am not good into studies, I am good into art. So she will make my lesson plan, as I said in the previous slide. The teacher can, have plan B for completing the lesson because she knows what is the problem with me. Once you know the problem, it's easy to deal with the children, isn't it? So here, I would like to say thank you so much, and whenever and wherever you need help, please don't hesitate to call me. Here I am, just sharing my number and my email ID if you need for counseling or if you need any help in any case. Please do contact me. With this, I would like to stop and say thank you so much for being so patient and listening to me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for your keynote speech on the topic behavior management in kids. Now, after this keynote speech, I request participants, if you have any question, please come with it. Meenakshi madam, I have a question that you said psychometric test.
Yes, sir. Yes,
This is used to understand personality characteristics. What side of on that personality, whether it's kid or adult, you can understand, as rightly you have mentioned that.
Exactly. As I mentioned, I already mentioned, sir, it's not for kids, it's for us also. And I really would request the people to go for a psychometric test at least once in 2 years. You will come to know where you stand and what good qualities you have.
Exactly.
It's a fantastic test to be done.
Also, you can easily make amendments in your changes.
Yes, it's very easy. It's very easy. Yes, it definitely brings positivity in you. Like they'll show you what are the good qualities. See, if we are starting into a position, sir, where there is negativity only. And we are starting in a world, and I don't blame today's generation, but what happens is it's like too much of competition.
Yes,
we are
exactly.
standing in a place where there's too much of competition, there's too much of bullying, in the class, in the outside, everywhere they bully a lot. So they need to stand separate. Every person is separate. So these kind of tests help them out to know that they are unique. They have some good qualities also. So that brings the positivity and they brings the charisma in them that yes, I can do that. So why not?
Yeah, exactly.
So, help them going into depression. So see, if going into depression and ending their life, this is perfect. And I would like to I came across to a child where I was not able to save her. She went into depression, and depression is something like you cannot make out from a person sitting next to you is into depression. You cannot make.
Yeah, as a teacher,
I couldn't help. I'm sorry, sir?
the reason is that there is, as you rightly mentioned, this only competition, but also comparison also. Comparison also one of the reasons why people are.
So,
Yeah,
yes.
that's another
The
point.
first thing you see in the schools or college, see Ramesh is doing good. You go to home, I went to my friend's house and she was like, see, Mr. Sharma's son has got 95. Why are you comparing your son or child, is good in something else. This is how we create that, we are the people who are, putting that seed into their heart, their brain that I am not good. Why? That is the reason I brought up this idea today for misbehavior. Why are they misbehaving? There is a reason behind it. So go to the reason. Please go to the cause.
Yes. Don't you think that the media in these days are most responsible for kids also, the way they are showing the different programs, where they don't have the values. The value has completely gone, And we were also students, but we were not. It means something wrong with their background, at home or somewhere. So what I submission is that we need to chart out their background also, and that's what the personal counseling comes into the picture. Personal counseling is most important. In such the candidates, we also when you cover attention candidates, they need to be tackled very carefully because they try to undermine the teachers.
But I don't agree to the point that we counsel. And I'll add one point to your statement.
Excuse me. I mean the background
thing is
background. I mean to say not that they are teachers or they are poor. I mean to say whether the candidate.
I'm not getting into direction poor, sir. not getting into rich and poor. I'm saying if the parents are not educated, then also they'll do miracles. My thing is the circle where they are, is the friend circle. That influence a lot. Your parents, your friends, that influence you a lot. So we need to check that. Instead of going and checking the background, we need to check whom he is he grooming with. If I am misbehaving with you, so you will first, what will you say? माँ बाप ने संस्कार नहीं दिए, माँ ने सिखाया नहीं, पापा ने सिखाया नहीं. This is the basic thing what we say, but ultimately that is to be checked.
That's what I mean to say. That's what I mean to say. हमारे पास माँ का गोद पहली दरसगाह पहला स्कूल कहते हैं. If that the thing is, if their parental background, something different, always quarreling, always something fighting for, so that is in his mind. That's what
I believe what my personal experience, my personal perception, and I don't want to hurt anyone here, but seriously, if I hurt, I'm sorry, but this is my personal perception.
It's not a matter of it's all.
No, I'm telling you, I have not finished. I'm just saying this is my personal perception that we are, in a world where we just want to show off. Okay. I have seen my friends, my relatives and all, where we just live in a world where we just want to show off. I have so much, I have educated so much, I have this car, I have that car, I have this kind of mobile, I use the latest iPhone. So what are we doing? We are setting an example in front of our students. We are setting an example in front of our children. So you don't have a smartphone, even the teachers also, you don't have smartphones. Oh, my phone has this and that. What are we doing? We are putting competition into that student. They'll, go home and say, I don't know from where you bring that phone and give it to me. I want to use that particular phone. So we don't say, come up with multiple examples. We only give them one solution. iPhone 4, iPhone 5, iPhone 6 is the best. Use that. What about rest who cannot, I have seen teachers who have, they just give this kind of example. This phone has this app, the others are waste. So what about the parents who cannot afford it? What are we doing? What are we doing? We are only, doing bad to them. So we are educators. Being an educator and being into this industry, sir, I really respect teachers a lot. Because from a teacher, from a preschool teacher to a principal, I have seriously gone through a lot to come to this position. I have seriously learned a lot.
Exactly.
But when you see today's teacher, they only, oh my God, you don't have a Versace bag, you don't have, a Levi's bag, you don't have this. What are you doing? We need to question ourselves, sir, before questioning the parents, before questioning anybody else. Are you doing justice to children? Are you bringing competition to children? Are you bringing negativity to children? You need to question that.
Yeah, I do agree with you, but still there is a lot of reforms needed in the education sector. Behavioral matter, this is the unending topic. You need to check yourself before showing the finger to the dust. You are rightly mentioned. Thank you so much.
In Bhagavad Gita, I simply said, Krishna says to Arjuna, when we point this, the rest, 4 are pointing to us. See yourself. One is only to that side. The rest 4 is to you.
In every religion,
any religion, I'm just giving an example.
That yes, before reforming others, you should reform first yourself. Be an example for us, an example for the others. Then automatically society gets reformed. Thank you so much, madam. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Is there anybody else with any more question, please? Very good and illustrative keynote speech on the topic. And thank you, Honorable Dr. Badiuddin sir, for your question. And now after this keynote speech, yes sir.
Good evening, sir. May I come in? I have one question.
Yes.
I respectfully ask madam, how do you deal with these people who show off? People who have a big ego, swollen head and say they possess everything and they kind of humiliate the ones who don't. How do you deal with them, ma'am? Could you kindly suggest something? I agree with you fully. We set a very bad example to the youngsters. Just because we may have more money or come in cars and all that and the others just come on cycles. So I agree with you fully on your views. I just want to know how do you deal with these kind of
and we only have set these kind of situations as parents. And because as I said, we have we have come to a society where we used to we come into Audi, we come into some big cars, and we are like and the children are like they are coming from childhood to that their mindset is that we have not given them a chance to learn to be humble. So in this case, what I have done for a couple of students and which has worked out for me is like counseled them and giving them tasks. Especially the college students, especially the teenagers, which is very difficult to handle. Teenagers means this goes to 7th floor and they don't listen to you. They think that you are new to this world and you don't know anything. They know everything. So it's very difficult to be patient. It's very difficult to understand what is going on in their mind and to give. It's very difficult task, and you cannot get answer in one go. You have to, it's a continuous process. For at least 2 months, they need to go on a vigorous process, and especially the parents needs to be counseled before the student. Their circle need to be counseled that, and this is how I have worked with the parents. I have counseled the parents because of them. The students were like, the child was like I am on sky high and I don't consider you. And the child, had come from US. It was, because that has happened to me. It was in my school. The child came from US and he was like, he doesn't, give respect to me, neither to me, neither to my teachers. And he was like, you don't know anything. And whenever we used to go to, it never respected any manner from the, speech to how we behave, in person. So it was very difficult, and my dean was so aggressive. He just said, ma'am, you just give him, TC and throw him out of the school. I cannot handle that child. But that is not the solution. If I will throw him out of the school, no other school will take him because I am giving him TC. I am giving him, detention. So what is my role as a principal if I am sitting there? I really worked out with the parent, and I came to know the father is a very rich person. He comes into Audi, he goes into Audi, he has all kind of luxuries at home. When tip of your finger, you get everything. Definitely, this is what you have created. So this is when I pitched into and I took help. I counseled the parent, and it seriously took not 2 months, 6 months for us to understand that child. Now he is the person. Whenever he sees me, I have left Bangalore. I'm going to go Bangalore back in a few months, but I have gone in between 2-3 times. Now I'm in Chennai, but when I went, I saw that child and he was like, ma'am, how are you? And he said, namaste. So that was an achievement for me where I saw him humble. I have not done any change, and I don't want to bring any change. I just want him to be a normal child. We are creating, sir. We are responsible for what we have done. We are only bringing that thing into them. They don't know anything. Yes, as Dr. Ahmed said, social media is seriously more responsible. Because every time they are on TikTok, they are on social media, they are on Instagram, they are on FB, they want to do that. What are we doing? We are not keeping an eye. If they are on the phone, let them do. Let us focus on our work. But we should keep an eye. Sahi kar raha hai, galat kar raha hai. What is my child doing? Why are we not into pitching into it? And do we have that kind of relationship? You will get an answer, sir. When you don't have a good relation with your child, you cannot expect these kind of good behavior from the child. If your relationship is a very good relation, your bond is very strong bond. Your family is a very close knit family. You understand each other, and as a parent, you are a friend. More than a parent, you are a friend. You are a listening ear to your child. These are the least things that you should think about. Mera bacha aisa karega. These are the least things. Seriously, it's us.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you so much, sir.
Madam, there are some arrogant person having counseling, everything is done. Also, they continue to have same behavior. Then what I think that there is a one Hemant Kumar song. I don't know which film. There is small couplet. वो अफसाना जिसे अंजाम तक लाना ना हो मुमकिन उसे खूबसूरत मोड़ दे के छोड़ देना अच्छा. Because at limit a point of time, what happens, there is arrogance, a point which reaches to a high peak, where his mind, his what you call conscious will not work. He said whatever he is doing is right. So that is the problem of this generation. In this case, simply you don't leave it to them what to do. If you do your lot of effort to make him right track, but bring him right track, but he doesn't come out, then leave it to his fate. What's my
don't agree to that we should leave him. Because as an educator, we should...
For a mature person I'm talking about.
For a mature person, see, certain times you have to leave a person, they'll learn. But if you are the friend or you're a family, it's your duty to help them. Who will help?
So I have been doing same counseling, but there such arrogancy has gone to peak in these days of youngsters. They just don't care the words of the family, the words of the friends. Whatever they are doing. Pardon?
What's the age of that person, sir?
He is about 23 years.
He's in his teens.
He's in PG class, madam. He's doing an MBA. He's finishing his MBA.
And this kind of behavior can lead to depression. Please get him counseled with a professional counselor and a psychiatrist. To be very frank, a psychiatrist.
Okay.
That will really help him out, because these certain efforts which doesn't work out, you have to go for 3 sessions with psychiatrists. That will give you certain tasks to do. So that will help him.
That might be the reason every hospital knows they're keeping the counselors in every hospital.
It's not in hospitals, in schools also it's a must to have a counselor.
For children, of course, they are growing, they should be. But for a mature person, they can have the ability to understand. Still, they pretend that they cannot understand. They do what
That's what I'm saying, sir. If he is not understanding, maybe there is a sign of depression, which, what happens, sir, the depression is not for one kind. Please understand that. So, when a person is depressed, certain people, maximum people in today's life, you will feel that they are okay, they are normal, nothing sees on this face. But when certain people, they show on aggression, they show on being foul mouth, foul tongue, they bring out. It's a sign. They don't cry. They become tough. These are the signs for depression. Please look into the depression signs. What signs he is having. That is why I mentioned in my PPT. Please go for the signs. When you go for the patterns, that this behavioral pattern, you will come to know does he needs counseling, or does he need you need a medical help. So here in this case, what I am presuming, I may be wrong and I want to be wrong, he is not a part of depression, but you have to go for a psychiatric test. You have to see a psychiatrist, a professional psychiatrist, a neurologist, or somebody where you can deal with it. And he has to come out. What happens is when you go to the psychiatrist, they deal with some kind of, if they are treatment, it can be hypnotism, it can be normal medications, which help him dealing with certain things which he's not able to express. And he might feel like, why should I tell in today's world? Why should I tell? Why should I if I tell, I'll be shown down, so to speak, to you or to anybody else, because that will bring his morale down. So I guess you should go for a psychiatrist test.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that advice.
Thank you, sir.
Any more question from anybody? Very good question answer session. Now after this, I would like to invite the chief organizer and chairperson of this webinar series, Honorable Principal Dr. M. Ambedkar sir, for his concluding words. Please sir, welcome.
Thank you, Professor Prakash Karad sir, and today's resource person, Principal Meenakshi Mehra madam, and all the organizing committee members of our college, including Vice Principal A.T. Misal sir, IQC Coordinator Sanjay Kale sir, Professor K.N. Kadam sir, Professor, all the supervisors, including Karanje sir, Udge sir, daily joining members, Prashant Ughade sir, Badruddin Ahmed sir, Vistan sir, Vice Principal K. Chaudhary sir. Today's topic, because we are all the teachers, when madam said that second time she is presenting in our dais this webinar, this special topic was remained behind within our series. When she informed me about to speak on this topic, I agreed to this because we are all LKG, UKG to college, all there are students, and they certainly few students always misbehavior. So this topic certainly helps us how to handle such cases, how to make a career of the students, things of him or her. If he is misbehaving, then what type of punishment or counseling is necessary. Also today's speaker media is also affecting all these things. But in our school, as an administrator or a teacher, we are guardians of them. If student is misbehaving like this, so we can identify and what he is having the background or anything, what problem. That's why in our schools there are so many programs which can motivate students. Early days when we were in childhood, there was a program of some stories of the from our old ancient Ramayana, Mahabharata and all these things. Teachers were going to say their stories in last hour of school. So that impact of stories was certainly with us for a few days. But nowadays there are no such atmosphere or time remained in the school to allow the time in the timetable to have a good discussion or to have some like the good things which are. And also there are some programs in the schools where student can identify the social behavior. Suppose students are doing misbehaving with poverty or richness. If they visit to the poor people's students or homes in the field survey or at any situation, they will identify the poverty also. If they are not serious about college teachers about the diseases, then if you visit to the hospital where patients are suffering from that, so all the contrast situation when they see, always there are some themes in the pictures also, but they deny all that. But especially when see in the society, they can do some positive behavior in their mind, as I think. So thank you, madam. It was the best topic for us, to every teacher, and they experience this type of examples, and they should go ahead for the student as a parent and to have a well all for him for his career or her career. Thank you, madam. And we again invite.
Even today, we also think that in my childhood, we used to have that story time. Seriously, you reminded me of that when in school also and at home also, my father used to make sure that he speaks a story before our bed, and that also a moral story. In today's day, it's missing. We don't have that. We don't have time for that.
Yes.
So that is we missing. Puzzle piece. We are. That's absolutely true what you said, Bedkar sir.
In my college, we have painted a wall before 15th August or 26th January. One student spitted with by chewing tobacco on that, and in CCTV camera I was watching all the situations. I pointed him and called him and to say sorry because we did this and you have to wash this. He denied because he was college student. So I did a poster of spitting of him also and displayed in the college for few days. Means someone is doing like this bad things in our college, he should be punished like this. Means he is just watching that wall of spitting, current spitting, and I displayed that poster because he was not saying to sorry. So at that time I did this, and it was made some impact on the other students also, because college or school is our property. We can't do this wrong thing with this, and because of CC camera we able to see him. So this type of situations came across. By discussing with higher authorities and with colleagues, with parents, we can solve this, because students are not our enemies. We are going to shape their life. So on our extent we have to do all these things with us when he or she is in our hand or in our school. Thank you, madam. And on 15th June you are also invited on new topic for that day.
15th June, sir?
25th June.
25th, I'll be there.
Yes, sir.
I'm bringing in the topic on autism, sir, because that is how I've dealt with students today. 3 level of autism, so I'll be definitely be there. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak, and so many knowledgeable people are here. So I seriously am honored to be here speaking as a speaker. Thank you so much, sir.
Just wait for formal vote of thanks from our
Now, thank you, madam, of the webinar. Sir, do you want to speak something?
No, sir. I just said thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Bedkar. Thank you, madam. Thank you, all the participants. Thank you. Thank you. Nice.
Thank you, Wisdom sir,
Thank
because you are
Now
out
the
of you are out of school, but and so senior and joining here, encouraging to all of us. So you have a right to comment and to bless us also. Thank you, Wisdom sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Now the last session of the webinar, vote of thanks. First of all, I would like to thank today's honorable dignitary and keynote speaker, Meenakshi ma'am, who has accepted the invitation of our college and delivered a very nice, illustrative and informative lecture on the topic, Behavior Management in Kids. I sincerely thank you ma'am for your keynote speech. I also thank the chief organizer and chairperson of this webinar series, Honorable Principal Dr. M. Bedkar sir. He incessantly works for the success of webinar series, provides different topics related with various fields, and tries to make us or enrich our knowledge through the keynote speeches. So I thank you, sir. I also thank active participants for their questions, for their doubts, and all the participants for their punctual attendance, patient listening, and taking active part in all the sessions of the webinar. Thank you, participants. I thank Dr. Anita Dole ma'am for giving introduction of the chief guest. Now I request participants fill feedback link to have your certificate. And at the end, with the permission of chief organizer, I announce here that today's webinar is over. Thanks to all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.